welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Ed Byrne and Russell Howard, Frankie Boyle, Hugh Dennis and Stewart Francis. Welcome. We start with a round call. If this is the answer, what is the question? On the board are 6 categories. Stewart, which category would you like?
Foreign news.
You're going to go for foreign news?
Yeah.
OK, your category is foreign news. The answer is 4%. What is the question?
The number of Americans who haven't been on a UFO.
What percentage of Charles Clarke is not bile, phlegm, lard or ears?
What is the spare memory capacity on Gary Glitter's laptop?
What percentage of the vote would Labour be delighted by at the next election?
What are the chances of me enjoying a film that are described with the words "one woman's journey"?
Is it how much of me is penis? Rising to 4.2 on a warm day.
Yeah. What is the number 4 expressed as a percentage?
Actually, that would be 400%.
Well, don't get mathematical with me.
I'll tell you what,
you give me a mathematical thing.
That was like a maths rap battle. Don't get mathematical with me.
I'm going to get some equations on your ass. Don't derivate.
Is it how much of the weekend can Amir Khan remember?
Is it?
How many people support the policy burn Britain's homeless to heat Britain's houses?
Is it how much does Guy Ritchie contribute to the family kitty?
Is it how many Americans think that Sarah Palin was in Monty Python?
Is it what proportion of votes would Robert Mugabe consider a landslide?
Is it John McCain's poll lead in America?
It is John McCain's poll lead in America. Well done, Frankie Boyle. Yes, the question I was looking for is how far is John McCain ahead of Barack Obama in some of the presidential polls? This is the news that Republican Vice President nominee Sarah Palin's popularity has given John McCain a 4% poll lead over Barack Obama. 40 million viewers watched her speech at the Republican convention, during which she described herself as a pit bull with lipstick.
Do you know, it strikes me, though, it's not going to work out the way they think. Because have you seen the way that John McCain looks at Sarah Palin? He is going to have a heart attack before the election. Don't you think? He wants to shoot her moose.
Do you reckon when they're on the tour bus and he's fallen asleep, that she just dresses up as death, just waiting for him to wake up? Just kind of do a bit like that.
She did the right thing because she made an analogy, but she kept it short. She said, I'm like a pit bull. That's the key with an analogy, is just keep it short, because no analogy bears up to examination. I'm like a pit bull, I'm tenacious, fine. I'm like a pit bull, when I get something I won't let go. If you want me to let go, you'll have to put your finger up my arse. No, you've gone too far, Palin! Don't leave me alone with a toddler, I'll kill it. No! Keep the analogy short.
They're saying, oh, you know, they talk about the thinking man's crumpet. She is the stupid man's donut. Basically, she actually doesn't even believe that climate change is man-made.
Yep.
Even George W. Bush now believes climate change is man-made. It's a sad state of affairs when you make George W. Bush look like an informed progressive.
To be honest,
The thing is, a 72-year-old man, right? He'd only met her once before. A 72-year-old man with his advisors talking to her for the second time. It must have been like a vaudeville act or something. Where are you from? Alaska. No, Alaska. Where are you from?
Did you guys know that McCain was a prisoner of war? Because he doesn't like to talk about it. He doesn't bring that. No, he always likes to talk about it. How sad is that? It's like me on the street. Hi, my name's Stewart. It's my birthday. Be my friend.
George Bush gave a speech this week where he praised John McCain for surviving in the Bangkok Hilton, which isn't surprising because Bush would struggle to survive in the London Hilton. He'd probably starve to death after 4 days in the wardrobe looking for the button for the ground floor.
Well, that's a very apt point. He actually praised him for surviving the Hanoi Hilton. Bangkok is in a different country, and Bangkok wasn't involved in the Vietnam War.
Well, it's important that we get stuff right on a show where we've not said international affairs, we've said foreign news in case we confuse people.
Touche.
Well, I think it's funny when she was slagging off Obama, when she, you know, and his environmental plans, and she says, "Yeah, what's he actually going to seek to accomplish after he's done turning back the water and healing the planet?" Like, what a shit thing to want to do. After you've done healing the planet, what next? World peace, asshole.
One of the oddest stories about her is that her son's called Track, and he was named Track because she's a fan of running. And, yeah, exactly, you know, thank God she doesn't like badminton. Imagine being called Shuttlecock. Imagine that.
Don't you think the glasses work in America? Obviously, you know, loads of people are trying to buy them and all the rest
Why
of
not?
it. But every time I see her, I think somewhere in here I'm expecting a little voice to go, "Should have gone to Specsavers."
But it really brings home how stupid the supporters are. That did you like the speech? I want to look like her. You know, so depressing.
Well, you
isn't it?
sounded like Baloo from the Jungle Book.
Yeah.
Ooh, ooh, ooh! I want to be like.
I tell you what.
Normal off-stage voice. This is an act.
I'm looking forward to mock the way.
Look into my eyes.
There's a Sarah Palin action figure, isn't there?
There is a Sarah Palin
and
action figure.
she's only got selected a week ago, so there's no chance that they've...
But they've clearly taken...
That's clearly an action man that they've grafted a vagina onto. Which is something that I've been doing for years. I've patented that.
To be honest, it looks a little bit like Gok Wan.
She's a creationist, isn't she?
Yep.
Right. If you're a creationist, if you're going to shut out part of reality, don't shut out things like dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are cool. If you're going to shut out part of reality, shut out tax returns or periods. Pretend that doesn't happen, right? Don't shut out dinosaurs. They were huge. I don't know why I said it in that voice, but they were huge.
To be honest, if you saw a dinosaur right now, you'd probably go, "Ah!" in a high-pitched voice.
Also, that's Frankie's voice when he's not doing what the week is.
You should see when we all meet up together. It's like, "Hello, Frankie." Hello, you.
She's also very like Vladimir Putin, I think. They're separated by only 2 letters of the alphabet, and they both like hunting. Don't they? I mean, they are very, very similar people. And you think, if in the event of a conflict between the US and Russia, you could sort it out by just forget war, forget missiles, just get the 2 of them hunting each other in the woods.
I think
the winner takes all the spoils. They go, "Do you not recognise the rug?" It is Sarah Palin. Look, the glasses.
She's got this giant, freakish family, Palin, hasn't she? It's sort of like an episode of The Waltons that was filmed in Austria. And she's got this guy who's got her daughter pregnant, right? And he's got on his MySpace page, redneck and proud of it. If you're a real redneck, you've not got a MySpace page. Redneck social networking is putting a couch on your front lawn.
In other news, why has the North Pole made headlines this week?
It's become an island.
Yes, it has become an island.
Well, I've heard it's been attacked by 2 massive, giant red arrows.
They've carved away at it. They've moved from the west.
But this is really worrying because this wasn't supposed to happen until the year 2030. And now they're predicting that by the year 2030, the whole thing will fit neatly into a gin and tonic. And we're so short-sighted, people are saying, "Oh, it's OK, it's opened up trade routes. We can send shipping round there now." That's like your house burning down and you going, "Oh, well, better parking."
What about the poor Inuit with their igloos? As the global warming kicks in, wake up the next day and your house has completely disappeared and you're just sleeping in a puddle. Be a bit like going to a music festival.
Yeah.
The Eskimos now have 600 words for "we're fucked." Well, do you know that literally the only chance for human survival is if when this thing melts, there's an enormous button underneath it that says, "Press to restore the Earth's factory settings."
But everyone's looking at, you know, it's bad news, you know, for us, and the oceans are going to rise and all that. But it's very good news for fish. who up until now have been living in very cramped, overcrowded conditions. And all this extra water that's going into the ocean, for them, it's like having the loft converted.
What? Hang on a minute.
We've knocked Greenland through.
By the way, we
it-
should
is it-
obviously point
is it a
out that the
myth?
oceans won't rise when this goes up, because that's like an ice cube in a glass of water.
Damn
and,
it.
And
And
that's
then
like only... It's Archimedes' principle. I'm sorry, now I've just killed the mood with some basic GCSE physics.
You're
sorry.
like Conan the joke killer with your knowledge. It's not the Bangkok Hilton. Oh, the Archimedes principle. This is the opposite of the role they hired you for, O'Brien, or O'Brien, or whatever
I
the
can't
fuck you're
fight
called.
it anymore. Get
All right,
tested me.
Dara O'Brien. Are there any Irish people in? Have you heard the name O'Brien before either?
Fuck off. It's not some made-up showbiz name
You
that
and
I've
your
got.
dad, the only O'Briens I've ever heard of.
It's not some crazy name I've chosen.
Personally, I think Dara should change his surname to Raboomdier. Dara Raboomdier.
At the end of that round, the points go to Frankie, Hugh and Stewart. Now we play a round called Illegally Drilling the Alaskan Joke Reserve. This game involves Stewart, Ed, Frankie and Russell, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This is where we test our performers' stand-up skills. We spin our news generator, it settles on a topic, and anyone can volunteer jokes about the chosen subject. The wins the team I judge to produce the funniest stuff. OK, let's spin the wheel. First topic is pensioners. Who wants to come into that? Frankie Boyle.
We've just heard that Britain, for the first time, has more pensioners than teenagers. What a terrifying statistic for the country's paedophiles. No wonder Gary Glitter didn't want to come back. In 20 years' time, we'll have the first generation of pensioners who can text each other. I've got Alzheimer's, man. Yeah, you told me that like 20 times already, man. To balance the economy out, what we should do, we should give pensioners more money, but only if they take up really dangerous sports. Here you go, an extra £100 a week if you start quad biking through safari parks wearing a suit made from ham. It's not how old you are physically, is it? It's how old you are mentally. I mean, my granny is, what, 83? But she has the mind of a 2-year-old. Just a joke, she's dead.
OK, let's spin the wheel again. Subject is young people. Ed Byrne.
Young people, they're very scary, aren't they? I remember being scared of young people when I was young. But when I'm grown up, I'll be bigger than them and I won't be scared of them anymore. And then they armed themselves, which I felt really unfair. I'm not scared of, like, goths or emos, which is kind of a shame, because goths make more of an effort to look scary. It's almost a shame they're not scary. They make more of an effort, and they give that look, like that, does my vampiric countenance not chill you to your bones? You're like, no. Like I said, one hoodie in there, it'll be like a dog worrying sheep. Don't annoy me. Getting stepped to by an emo. You're an emo, for God's sake. I think between the two of us, we both know who you're most likely to harm.
Well done, Ed Byrne. OK, that leaves us Stewart and Russell. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is relationships. Who wants to come into that? Russell.
Britain, I have sexual advice for you. That's right. When I was 18, I used food in the bedroom. Now, don't ever do it. It didn't go well, right? Rather than... I used Rolo yogurt. And rather than tell... Yeah, exactly, right? Rather than tell my then-girlfriend what I had planned, I pretty much waited for her like some hideous yogurt goblin, right? Now, I doubt there's anything more terrifying than coming home to find me naked, holding yogurt, going, yeah, right? And I panicked, and rather than putting a little bit on, I pretty much basted her, right? By the time I'd finished, she looked a bit like Morph. You're sat there. I created an angry meal. You don't know where to start licking. You don't want to lick randomly, then she looks like she's got an illness. So, I did foot up to knee. That took me an hour. And hours I was just... She looked like an angry gingerbread lady who'd had her leg dipped in Tippex, right? It didn't end there. I was like, I can't help you. The door opened, one of my dogs ran in and started licking the other leg. Never use food in the bedroom.
Thank you very much, Russell Howard. So that leaves us with Stewart. Let's have a look at the last topic then. And the topic is family. Stewart.
Before I rock the microphone, I want to I want to dedicate my performance to my father, who was a roofer. So, Dad, if you're up there. I'll tell you about my family. I'm the youngest of three. My parents are both older, and I have mixed-race parents. My father prefers the 100 meters, and my mother's Pakistani. I was raised by my father. My mother left before I was born, and you know, I like being raised by my father. He's schizophrenic, but he's good people. I remember one summer I was 5 and he was Mussolini. Went to the park that day. I love parks. Standing in the park today wondering, why does a Frisbee appear larger the closer it gets? And then it hit me. My uncle's a hypnotist who has never inappropriately touched me. I have to leave now. I'm a member of Overactors Anonymous, and we have an Overactors Anonymous meeting that starts in...
At the end of that round, the points go to Frankie and Stewart. Our next round is called Headliners. Here's a picture of British tennis star Andy Murray. But what does MGSW stand for?
Is it Murray's ginger sideburns woeful?
Is it Marvin Gaye sprayed white?
Is it miserable git shuns winning?
Is it...
Thank you. Hang on. Thank you.
Is this is it with what happened in the women's final and the men's final? Is it Murray gives, Serena won?
Just looking at the photo, is it Murray gives self wedgie?
Well, actually, is he praying for the one thing he needed to beat Federer, which is major gunshot wound?
Is it Murray Grand Slam? Whoa.
Very good. Well done, Hugh. Yeah. That's great. The answer I was looking for was Murray's Grand Slam Woe. This is a valiant effort by Andy Murray in the final of the US Open, aiming to become the country's first male Grand Slam winner since 1936. He overcame world number 1 Rafael Nadal in the semi, but was defeated in straight sets by Roger Federer in the final. I say the countries. I mean, he was British if he won. He's back to being Scottish now.
Come on, Amir Khan is Scottish now. When Amir Khan went down for the second time, the commentator went, "Take that, you Scottish bastards!" Scotland got humped at the weekend by Macedonia. What, the ancient dead civilization? Who's beaten us midweek? The Aztecs?
There's so much hype about Murray. That's what I've picked up on. And in Canada, we had a similar player. A lot of hype and didn't pan out. He wasn't very good. I don't know whatever happened to Greg Ruzetsky, but...
Yeah. Did you see what Don King said about it? It was fantastic. I don't know if anyone saw it. It was amazing. He was just stood there going, it's going to be a grapple in the apple. He's like 007 playing a Swiss watch. It's going to be the most extravagant thing you've ever seen. And then he panicked and went, God save the Queen! Right? And it was that thing, you just go, how much would you love to go out for a drink with Don King? I want a drink that'll slip in my tummy, make me feel funny, don't care about the money, viva la revolution. What? drink do you want, you crazy old man? Get me a Ribena. You know?
Speaking.
How depressed is Andy Murray? He's apparently not allowed to go too near the umpire's chair in case he hangs himself. How did he learn in Scotland to play a sport that you can only practice when it's sunny outside? Can you imagine how good he would have been if he hadn't worked for his serve on 2 years in the kitchen?
I enjoyed his game with Rafa Nadal, though. The thing about Rafa, though, is he keeps on picking his arse, doesn't he? He's like he's got a massive wedgie after every point. He's a multi-millionaire. Rafa Nadal, buy some bigger pants.
In other sporting news, who is this man?
Looks a bit like Peter Kay.
He's a crazy billionaire who's bought Man City.
Yeah. He is, yeah.
There's no crazy billionaire build a secret base and kill James Bond anymore. What are you going to do, Bond? I am buying Frank Lampard legally. I think it's going to be great for Man City. I can't wait to hear their team sheet being read out at 5 a.m. from the top of a mosque. Ronaldinho is injured. Yes, he is injured!
All this money they're spending on Manchester City, the team just better not play like Shiite. I'm new in town.
Do you know, it's exciting because you could have all the best players in the world, and that means that you could have one absolute passenger. How good would it be to have a central midfield that was Kaka, Gerrard, Essien, Dame Judi Dench? In a diamond formation, obviously, you'd want to protect her a bit. But hey, John Terry's behind her, it's going to be fine.
You put her in the holding position in midfield.
She's going to miss the odd tackle, but it's going to be funny.
Surely you'd stick her down the wing. Sure, over 10 yards, Dench will beat anyone, right?
Don't you totally wrong. Dench is a fox in the box. I tell you what, you leave her alone 6 yards, bang. She's in many ways.
The first 3 yards are in her head. That's the amazing thing about it. Like,
It's such a waste, though, isn't it? If you had 540 billion, you wouldn't buy a football team. You'd invent your own sport. Do you know what I mean? You've like a cross between Robot Wars and Gladiators with tramps set in space. That's what I'd do. You'd really go for
Well,
it.
you do know they already have robot sports in the United Arab Emirates.
Really?
They have robots who ride the camels. They have camel racing, and instead of getting jockeys, which are presumably getting tinier and tinier, now they have robots who ride the camels.
Why don't they have jockeys on robot camels? That'd be a lot more interesting.
It's a great thing, was, though.
To these guys, man, right? In 2 years' time, Manchester City will be 3-0 up in the Champions League final, and this guy will just turn to his assistant and go, I am bored now, build me a robot spaniel.
You've got to love Man City. My favourite story about Man City, without doubt, is that they wanted to name one of their stands after a famous player called Colin Bell. So they genuinely wanted a stand called Bell End. You have to... that is genius, isn't it?
Which unlikely figure is the government looking to enlist the services
Oh, no,
of?
is this Jeremy Kyle?
Yes,
The
it is,
government want to pay Jeremy Kyle to do a programme where he baits people for being unemployed. What is that about the current Jeremy Kyle show where he isn't baiting people for being unemployed? I watch the Jeremy Kyle show and I go, where does he get these people from? And then I go, oh, that's right, Scotland.
He just gets a trawler, right, and a giant net, and he throws it over a Lidl in Glasgow and just draws it through. And people get dragged into the
He's
net.
got a variety of techniques. He's digging a pit outside cash converter. He's driving a van round the city centre with alcohol pops and chicken nuggets. Damn you, Kyle, you capture me!
The idea is that he's gonna...
What, they're like King Kong or something? Oh, they climb to the top of the ITV
Why do
building.
they go on? Is that the thing? You know what I mean? If your wife's going to go, we're going to go on Jeremy Kyle, don't. She's shagging your dad. Don't. It's not your baby and your mum's on crack. Stay at home.
Who watches that programme? It's like looking at a wound. Even Kerry Katona's sitting at home going, fuck's sake.
At the end of that, Corey's going to Russell and Andy! Now we come to our final quickfire round called Scenes We'd Like to See. This is for everyone, so if you can make your way to the performance area, please. I caught ideas for scenarios we'd love to see, and the performers come in with their suggestions. OK, here we go. The first topic is unlikely small ads.
Did you see a hit and run in the Cromwell Road on Tuesday night? Please get in touch, because I'm keen to silence any witnesses.
Parents, Worried about unruly teenagers ruining your house? You need my book, My House, My Rules, by Joseph Fritzl.
Please get in touch. Our eyes met yesterday. You were the blonde undressing in the bedroom. I was the man lurking in your garden.
Legs, bums and tums, wanted by cannibal.
Slightly used condoms for sale. No weirdos.
Are you an alcoholic? There's a sale on at Oddbins.
House prices falling, debts rising, feel like you can't quite cope. Pull yourself together!
Gardening done. Think I'll put my feet up now?
Are you looking for a plumber who'll do a good job at a reasonable price? You've got no chance.
Anger management CDs for sale. Don't ring before noon.
Are you struggling to get out of the bath? It's pretty much game over for you then.
The next topic is unlikely things to hear on Question Time.
Allow me to answer your question with a question. Why don't you fuck off?
I'm going to take a question from a black man without mentioning that he's black. The man in the red jumper, please.
Do I believe the economy's in recession? Well, I believe it was Churchill who said, oh, yeah.
David Dimbleby, you haven't answered a question all night. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
A good question there. Is the BBC dumbing down? What do you think, Barry Chuckle?
Yes, my question is for Delilah. Why?
Welcome to Question Time, coming to you this week live from Spearmint Rhino.
Question time. Tonight we're in Norwich. Let's say hello to the audience. Look, men from Magic Picture Box. Go speaky, speaky.
Is the wrong answer, Charles Clark. Take off an item of clothing.
So, good question. Gordon Brown, why don't you shove your tax increases up your arse?
If your dog isn't here, Mr. Blunkett, who's sniffing my balls?
I have a question for Boris Johnson. Do you know where you are?
Is Britain becoming more misogynist? Let's ask this bitch.
At the end of that round, the points go to Russell, Ed and Andy. That's the end of the show. This week's winners are Frankie Boyle, Hugh Dennis and Stewart Francis. Commiserations to Andy Parsons, Ed Byrne and Russell Howard. Thank you for watching. I'm Dara Breen. Good night.
Over-competitive parents are on the warpath again in the Cup next here on BBC Two. And the comedy continues at 10 with Never Mind the Buzzcocks.